now! What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and now that I have watched just some of the episodes from the Star Trek original series, it's time. It's time to jump right in to the original movies, starting with Star Trek The Motion Picture. This is a 1979 film that was directed by Robert Weiss. And the plot of this movie is, you see at the very beginning, Captain Kirk, Admiral Kirk at this point, he's been stationed on the Starfleet for a couple of years. This alien threat is imminent. There's an attack coming towards Earth, and Kirk basically finagles his way back onto the Enterprise, back as the leader, kicks out the previous commander and takes full control and says, I'm going to handle the situation myself. But once the original crew find out who this alien is, what it wants, it's not as easy to sort of deal with it and combat it. Now, what I thought of this movie was, I enjoyed it for the first 3/4 of the movie. I did. First, let me talk about William Shatner back as Captain Kirk. Seeing his side plot of almost... He wasn't being deceiving, I don't think. He wasn't being a dick. But I can see the point of view of him using this drastic situation to his advantage to get the Enterprise back. Clearly, he wanted this ship back. He wanted this power back. And seeing the power play that he does have with some of the characters, it's interesting. It's an interesting direction to do with Kirk, because usually he is so likable. Usually he is that leader that you just know and trust without any doubt. We get Leonard Nimoy as Spock, who at the very beginning, he's back on his planet with the Vulcans, and it's interesting when he does join back up with the ship and everybody's so happy to see him, and he's just kind of like, okay, the fuck do you guys want? I'm here to do some serious work here. He's just, again, no human emotion, but he seems even more emotionally distant than he ever was on the episodes that I watched on the show. I don't know if being back on this planet, interacting with his people, has changed things for him, or maybe he knows that he was becoming susceptible to emotions and feelings, and now he's fighting it. Either way, though, it's somewhat amusing to see him be just cut off emotionally to the rest of the crew. Although you do just wish that he'd lighten up a little bit. A little bit. Seeing the original crew back, like Scotty, Chekhov, Sulu, and Uhura, that was cool. I mean, again, I haven't sat through all of the episodes, each and every adventure that they went on, but you can tell that the history's there. You can tell that they all feel close to each other and that they're happy to see Kirk back, for example. And you have DeForest Kelly as Bones McCoy. When he comes back in, he's all disheveled, has a beard, and he clearly wanted nothing to do with the ship anymore or being back on these missions. But Kirk practically begs him to come back and says, I need you, and brings him back into the fold. I like their relationship, the fact that Bones is Kirk's right-hand man. In fact, Bones is almost there to tell Kirk when he's out of line. There's a scene where he's like, I don't think you quite know what you're doing, or you're a little in over your head, because this Enterprise is bigger, changes done to it, he doesn't quite know as well how the ship works. Stephen Collins as Decker. And I could go on a long rant about how much of a human piece of shit Stephen Collins is, how much of a waste of skin this fucker is, for obvious reasons, but I won't get into that. I won't get into him personally or my feelings towards it. I will just talk about this character, Decker, who was somebody that I thought was interesting at first, to be honest, how he was the captain. He was appointed, actually, by Kirk years ago, but when Kirk comes back, he demotes him and says, no, you're just going to be my commander. And there's obvious tension there, there's constant scenes of them going back and forth, battling for leadership. And again, as much as I like Kirk, as much as I like Shatner, I understood Decker's point of view, how he might feel shafted here, how he might feel like he's more better suited to take on a mission like this. Ilya, who is played by Persis Kambata, if I'm saying her name right, she's the Delta navigator of the ship. She's an alien, her head's shaved. Even with all of that, though, she was pretty hot. I will admit that. Now, she has a past with Decker where they used to be together, but then something happened, so now they're back together on their ship, and there's some tension there. But then, when they interact with this alien being, I don't quite know what to make of it. We find out that it's called V'ger, or V'ger, and it's this mysterious alien. Like, for the longest time, they don't know what it is, what it wants, why it's threatening to destroy these planets, including Earth, just what exactly this thing is after. But once they do find out, it takes possession of Ilya and reprograms her almost to be a robot. And that was really fucked up. Like, I was kind of liking her character beforehand, and then just to see her taken and her life taken out of her and turned into a mindless cyborg, that was almost depressing. And the fact that they couldn't really do anything for her, for the most part, she was gone by that point. And that's where you find out more about this alien and the fact that it's threatening to destroy life because it wants answers. It wants to meet who they call the Creator. And I guess that was interesting because I'm not so sure how many times Star Trek, the show, has dealt with the Creator or God, and maybe why he created all of life in this universe that includes aliens and just this whole galaxy. It was getting philosophical. I was wondering where they were going to take it. You get a lot of shots and a lot of just them showing off the special effects. You can tell that this is a movie versus the show because the ship is bigger and grander, and you get lots of good effects, especially for the time, but just in general, the effects are really good. So you get why they're spending so much time on it. You could argue that the pacing's a little slow, but because this was my first time watching it, I was okay with it. I wasn't bored, really. Maybe if I saw it a second time, then I'd feel the time or the slow moments a little bit more. But I was really okay with everything until the ending. And I'm not really going to spoil the ending, but I will say that the ending kind of just came out of nowhere. And it's almost like I don't know what they're trying to tell me with this ending, whether I'm just supposed to accept this whole being one with beings and the creation of new life and how that just kind of solves all of the problems. And it was very underwhelming. I felt like we got such a build-up towards something happening. I'm not saying that this should have been an all-out battle, an all-out fight. I know this isn't Star Wars, although I love Star Wars. I know this isn't what they really go for, but I feel like we should have gotten more. I feel like we had all of this build-up, all of this kind of hype, right? And then, what do we get? I don't know. I was underwhelmed. I was, and that kind of brings the movie a little down for me. I don't hate it. I'm not, like, angry and ranting and raving. I'm just saying that it started off really interesting. A lot of ideas. I like the character interactions. And then it just petered off. And this ending, I don't really even know what to make of it. So, guys, all in all, Star Trek the Motion Picture, I guess it's just an okay movie at the end of the day. At least it wasn't bad. At least, right? So, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this first Star Trek movie? Do you like it more than I do? Do you dislike it? Can you explain to me what this ending was trying to do? Or say? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!